Hey, what's up? This is going to be a quick breakdown of my remix of Shifted by Illo and Fractures. I guess let's just jump into it. So I first started by messing around with the vocal sample and stretching it a bit. So what I did was I hit the flex speed pitch, grabbed that right off the bat, and then I shortened it. I kind of like alt dragged it to make it a little bit shorter. And then just did a little bit of post-processing on that, just to give it a little bit more depth and to punch out a little bit more in the mix. Then I doubled that with same settings, but with a little bit of little alter boy on that, just to re-pitch it down 12 semitones to get the original. Then I layered that together with the main track. Over here, I got some pads going, which is just going to be the vocals slapped into Alchemy with some granular settings. Then I want to say I have some automation for filter cutoff in here. That's just to build tension, to add a little bit more stuff going on in the background of the track. I also have this Reese bass synth that I made from Serum Patch. It's a pretty simple Reese bass. There's nothing going on in the back end. Just a little bit of imaging, a little bit of filtering. Nothing too crazy, just a little bit of saturation going on, and then got some sidechain compression going. Auto filter is just going to be for automation, just to add transitions for the next sections. Over here, I got a little bit more pad action going on from the vocal from the track. Again, I want to say that, yeah, it's going to be granular again. So as you can see here, there's a little bit of like pitching going on. What that is whenever I'm making a synth, I'll go ahead and find a little snippet that I like, and then hit the C key or hit the note C, and then pitch everything to that, and then go from there, play some rhythms and whatnot before filtering and modulation. It's gonna sound pretty similar to the pad, but cut off a lot of highs. Portal's doing a little bit of the grunt work, adding some movement around the track, as well as a little bit of grain delay and like pitch shifting. Over here, I got this little ARP chop synth that I made, which again is going to be the exact same vocal chop, just a little bit different settings on like the envelopes and EQ mixing, so that it again sits in the mix. You can use the same sounds for different parts of your song, although you'll run into mixing issues if you don't try to treat them differently. So I have like each carved out its own space in the mix. Got some drums going on from the percussion. This is just literally straight from the track, with a little bit of processing. This one's just got a little more reverb on it, and I have, let's say, some compression and some EQ over all the percussion elements. And then I got this little riser going on, which does make another debut as another kind of section later on in the track. And then we go to the build up. It's just more automation. What I got going on here is a little bit of tape delay, because it just has a really good character with a little bit more feedback attached to it. And then that just feeds right into the first part. So again, it's just going to be the pads, the bass, drums, and what's different here is a little bit more effects onto the chop synth, which is going to be the exactly same thing, except I'm messing with the dynamics and the gate. So I have a little bit of slap on there just to tighten up the little transient sounds. And then I have a very, very short decay or delay, unlike the delay from Replica, just to give it that wider sound, because I have it set to like the wide preset. Then I'm bringing in some hats. And then the vocals come in. I actually reduce the gain a little bit from the synth, because this vocal synth is going to be taking up a very similar frequency space as the vocal itself, so it's better in the mix. So it's more of the same stuff, because it's the genre. You're going to be repeating elements and then adding stuff and then subtracting stuff. So here I'm removing elements, trying to break down the track a little bit more. Using that riser from earlier. Reintroducing some pad sounds. This is a new sound I introduced. It's another like little snippet of audio from the track. Although what I did was I looped it and added a little bit of reverb to it so that it kind of sits in the mix a little bit better and it kind of adds like tension to the track. And then another sound you'll hear are these little violin sounds that I want to say are used in like the chorus or some of the verses of the original track, and that's kind of like sitting in the background. And then I add a lot of like modulation and effects later for like the second drop. So all this, again, just building tension. So again, you know, your classic generic effects, sweeps, got some crash cymbals with some reverse on it. Next thing I introduce is actually going to be kind of that violin sound, but like chopped up like a lot. So it's going to sound originally, I want to say, like this. And then I just do a little bit more processing and effects. So what I was doing here was I was using Neutron's gate. You can use any gate for this to just increase the dynamics as much as possible from like loud to zero instead of like loud to quiet. So I'm kind of removing all of the quiet stuff. And in here, adding a little bit of reverb. And then I want to say this is where I start like doing a little bit of mixing with EQ, some delay, and some compression. Just more stuff to make it fit in the mix better. And then I have that side chains that fits with the groove, and it ducks whenever I want it to duck. That's pretty much just the whole track. Nothing too special, just mostly granular synthesis with alchemy and a little bit of clever sampling and messing with dynamics with gates and slap.